Welcome to Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women, the go-to podcast for women of color entrepreneurs overwhelmed by their finances and ready to transform their money mindset, take control of their money, and build sustainable wealth. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, certified financial coach and CEO of Money Honey LLC. I believe that abundance is your birthright and that good money management doesn't mean cutting out the joy from your life. Stick around to learn how you can build intentional money habits that align with your biggest lifestyle goals. Let's get into today's episode. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, and this is a bonus episode today where I get to do the thing, honestly, I've been waiting to do since I started this podcast, and also as somebody who is a fan of podcasts. And yes, you might already know what it is based off of when this is coming out, but it is a nice year in review type episode. There's so much that happened in 2025 that is exciting for me. And there's also, some things I had to navigate. And so what better than a podcast to talk about it? I know sometimes you guys are like, we want to hear more stories and more things about what's going on. So if that is you, one, love you lots. Two, this episode is for you. Let's kind of get into it. I've narrowed it down to what I believe will be 5 highlights for 2025. I know that's fun. And so that's what I want to stick to. However, we'll see what happens. It might go on and be a couple more things that I want to highlight. But it's going to be like a combo because there really has been a lot of duality for me this year. It has not just all been excitement and fun and everything. There's also been, some stress, some relationships and things that had to end. And so, there's a little bit of everything here. So first, I'll start off with one of my number one highlights. And honestly, that's $60,000 in grants this year. That is amazing. I'm still so excited about the famous Amos grant of $50,000, but that wasn't the only one. We won additional grants last year, and that feels so good to be seen, to be recognized, and also that folks see what we doing here at Manifest Money Honey. And so it's a good feeling. It's very exciting. And it was also so helpful. I'm a big fan of grants. I've been applying for them for a couple of years. I really do feel like last year, being 2024, was the year that I started to apply more regularly. 2025, I got very specific, and, as you have more experience with filling out applications and all those things, you start to know what you want to focus on. You start to get more clear and have more direction. And that's what happened with this year. And I really attribute that clarity and that focus and that specificity when I was applying to what's led to so many of our wins this year, which is really great. So I'm excited to continue that again in 2026. But that was something that has really made a difference. That those have allowed me to make my hiring decisions. That is what allowed me to file for my trademarks. And so that's the grants. I love them. I'm very grateful for the companies that have supported the vision, supported the mission. My next highlight is kind of along the same thing with money, the money reside. And that is the company's best year ever. And I was talking to another business owner about this maybe like a month ago. The thing is, right, there was so much that happened in 2025 for the collective, for people, for in society, especially here in the US. And at times it felt like I couldn't fully celebrate that we were having such a great year. I couldn't fully celebrate that all of the amazing things that were going on and, how we've been able to help so many more women. And, I feel like my company has really hit its stride this year. And that is the best. And yet, yeah, since there was so much going on, it felt like at times I had to step back from celebrating. And I was able to recognize that just because other people are going through things does not mean that I don't get to celebrate, does not mean that we don't get to acknowledge and be the inspiration, right? Sometimes you get to inspire others and sometimes you need to be inspired. And so it was great to be able to inspire others with that. This year it's just been a beautiful thing. And, I'm going to miss it for that reason. To just see that a lot of the programs we were creating, a lot of the work that we've done with clients and the ideas that, I've had as the years have gone on, to see all of that start to come together and really have some momentum is beautiful. And we're not even close. We're just getting started, low key, because there's so much that we're able to now build upon that we, finally saw what was really working, I feel like, in this last year. And so to see the revenue match that is a beautiful thing, to just really have our best year. And, Money Honey just turned 5. Yay. And so there's so much that goes with that, right? It's the 5-year mark is such a big deal because I'm sure we've all heard the stats, so many businesses don't even make it to year 5 and all of that, right? And so to know that we made it there is hella exciting. So I'm really overjoyed about that part and seeing the growth, seeing the team start to come together and people working with each other, seeing the excitement. One of the things is I was even studying entrepreneurship and as I was becoming an entrepreneur, I wanted to create a workplace that people wanted to be at and that they wanted to, they were excited to come to work and they were excited to contribute to the mission and everything. And to even receive messages like that from my team it's just been that's something I've dreamed of. So it's beautiful to hear that they're excited to grow. They're excited about the opportunities that we provide here. And it's only getting better. So that's one of my highlights for sure. On a personal side, taking that summer break sabbatical, as I like to call it, that was like a dream come true. I reached out actually to my first business coach right after I got back because it was with her that I, even talked about how one day I would love to be able to take 2 months off, and just vibe out, just travel, do whatever. And that was a goal that I set. And I started working with her in 2020. So that was and that was even before before the entity was established. That was when I was really getting started. And, that was the goal that I set, to be able to do that, have that space to relax. And I think on the other side of that too, right, with the company having its best year ever, I find it so interesting that it was a year where I worked less. That's the truth of it, right? I was working less hours, but the work that I was doing is definitely more impactful, deeper, and that's the best way to put it. And so it's different work, and yet it still is making a bigger difference. And between that and what we've had to navigate recently, which I'll touch on in a little bit, those things have really made it so that even with all of that, we still did fantastic this year. It's amazing. So that break was good. One of the things that was cool about this break, and I know I talked about this a little in another bonus episode from the summer, but the other cool thing was that usually when I am traveling for just myself, for pleasure, I get back and I feel refreshed and I'm like ready to work and everything like that. But this time I intentionally did not hop back into work afterwards so I could really be in the full sabbatical mode. And that was a great decision as well. Like to be at home and not necessarily feel like pressure to do anything and to just be able to relax and enjoy was so good. I really enjoyed that. So that is the sabbatical. I feel like it's something I'm going to do my best to do every single year going forward. Next thing is doing the courageous thing. This one, I think sometimes we hold ourselves back, right? We stay where it's comfortable and we let the fear take over. And this year was really the year where I was like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to boldly speak and allow things to end up the way that they are meant to end up. I am going to take the chance on myself, be more visible, talk about my business more, talk about the mission that I have in life more, just more, right? And that led to some interesting things, right? So one, it was like applying for program, even the grant, even the $50,000 grant. And I'll link the other bonus episodes so you can refer back to it in terms of like how I almost didn't apply. But that's the thing, right? When I was faced with that, I was like, okay, I could just not apply, but why not? Like, why not me? Right. And I totally want y'all to take on that same belief system when it comes to like the accolades that you really want, when it comes to the life that you really want. Why would you not go for it? Just go for it. And at least give some sort of effort towards the thing that you want to see happen for you. And it's the best decision I have ever made. Honestly, that is what has opened me up to so much in terms of even collaborations as we've grown this year. It's what has brought me into, rooms with people who get it and who want to see me succeed as much as I want to see them succeed. It's also led to having some tough conversations. Being courageous means that you are aware of the fear that you have, and yet you are choosing to move forward and make the decision and say the thing anyway. If it's with somebody else and things don't go the way that you want, or the relationships end up fragmented in some way after having the conversation, then honestly, that's what was meant to happen. I'm one of those people where I'd rather find out now than find out later. I have not regretted any of that. I haven't felt at any point that it wasn't worth saying the thing that I needed to say, or wasn't worth it to, tell somebody how I truly feel. I had to be okay with disappointing others more than continuing to disappoint myself. And that is something that's taken me a long time to work on and get through as a recovering people pleaser. You have to put your peace first. And that is really where I was making those decisions from. Like if I saw that I was not valued in a space, I left it. And I'm very glad that I did. My life has been so much better since I have. And you don't have to continue to put up with it. If it is draining your energy every single time, it's not worth it at the end of the day. And I know that sometimes we get so caught up in what we could lose when we make decisions like this, but I really encourage you to focus on what you could gain. There was a conversation I was having about success as well, where we often think about like, oh, I want to reach a certain income level. I want to have this certain lifestyle. And yet for whatever reason, the work that we put in isn't bringing that to us. And oftentimes it's because within there, we're afraid of being successful, and not just afraid of the good part, which is I think what our minds go to initially when we hear that, but really we're afraid of losing something in the pursuit of success. And I know for me, for a long time, that was people. I was afraid to lose relationships. I was afraid to, I thought I wasn't going to have friends anymore. I thought people wouldn't want to talk to me and all of that stuff, right? That talk track that comes in. And what I've realized is that whoever has left my space has only been replaced by something better than and something that fits the season I'm in more, and somebody who understands that. And I haven't like, I've been so grateful for that. And it required me to say, okay, if I'm, and really kind of just like dig into the belief of, if they get upset at me using my voice, if they do not like the value that I bring to the table, if everything is a battle and a fight, then those people and those spaces were not for me anyway. Because I've found that there are people and there are spaces that will fully embrace and love you for who you are and what you bring. And they see the gifts, they see the talents, and they appreciate them instead of feeling jealous or intimidated by them or by you. And so that's part of being courageous, is saying like, I might need to leave that space, and making that decision that ultimately it's going to benefit you. There's just some fear because of, what you might lose. But honestly, whatever you lose, it needed to make space for even more abundance. And yeah, and it's worth it. Okay, so that's that one. Then this last one, client wins. Okay, I am so grateful for the amazing women that I've been able to work with in 2025. I love seeing them continue to succeed even after we have stopped working together. I love to see my current clients just shining. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of someone's financial journey and to help them see the gifts that they already have within themselves, and to see them apply their knowledge, to see them move boldly, move confidently. It's something that I absolutely love. And so I'm going to celebrate some wins here. We had savings that were increased. Some people started, being able to save like $10,000 this year. There's others who were able to start saving a couple thousand a month, opening investment accounts, and not just opening them, but also investing. That was exciting to see so many women overcome that fear of actually putting their money in the market, or actually buying the rental property, or just moving forward in that way, saving for retirement, all of those things. Releasing financial stress. That's my favorite one, honestly. Because to see someone go from like anxiety over money to, I made this spending decision and I feel good about it and I get to move forward, or I'm not even thinking about money every single moment of every single day anymore. Like, hearing things like that from clients just really lights me up and makes me so happy. And one of my favorite things I heard from a couple of clients this year was them taking power back over money. So taking their power back, going from a space of feeling like money was controlling them, money was calling the shots, and really directing their life to saying like, no, you know what? I got this. I make the decisions. I know how to move forward. And yeah, so I'm very excited about clients. And then, so lastly, right, I talked about how I took that summer sabbatical. The other side was that, like, really over December, I did not work as much because I was dealing with my mom having a stroke. And that, and being thrust into the caregiver role and situation, it's a lot. Like, there were a lot of moving parts at the time. It just felt, your life changes overnight, or just like within a moment. And so, having to now help somebody manage, their own doctor's appointments and decisions, and also helping them to, establish some normalcy, that has been wild. And then like searching for resources, like that's been a lot of the time. And still is. Like, we were able to get some support and things. So it started to feel less and less stressful, less and less chaotic even. And that is good. We're still, she's making progress, which is great. And, I have faith that she is going to be back to, regular operations soon. But yeah, it's been a transition. It's been a time. That can also be present, right? While everything else is going on. And I think that even that situation taught me just like the importance of sharing as I am navigating something before. And honestly, this is from a coach from like a few years ago, right? Who was like, you should only share like about a situation after you've already overcome it. And there's been pieces of me that has not always, I've not always agreed with that. And yet, because of that, there was this like fear that would come in of like, oh, people are not going to work with me because they're going to be like, oh, she doesn't have the capacity because she's dealing with something. But at the same time, like we all deal with things every single day. Like we all have our thing that we're going through or, navigating. And I felt like it would be even better to just share what's going on because also who knows who else that could help. And so, one of the things that I've been doing is as I've been navigating this part of being caregivers, just sharing honestly what that has been like, sharing resources that I have found so that way somebody else could use them if they find themselves in a similar situation. And the outpouring of love, the outpouring of additional resources and support has been something better than I could have imagined. And, it's amazing that when we finally, again, make that courageous move and say, you know what? Yeah, this could happen. Yeah, people could be like, no, like she doesn't seem like she has the capacity right now. And that wasn't the case. I felt that and I still move forward. And, we have amazing things going on right now. The business continues to grow. We're continuing to carry this momentum in through 2026. And I've had consultations. I still have space for more if you want to work with me this year. You would do that by scheduling a wealth alignment assessment. So that way we can see, what your focuses are and then the best program fit for you. But yeah, like it's sharing that has not only helped me to feel some relief, but it's also just brought so much more abundance in terms of support and community. And so those are the things, I think that about sums up all of the highlights and the situation so far from 2025. I think the one other thing that I'm proud of this year is that is in the way that I invested with support in terms of team and contractors and stuff like that. There was a version of me before that was like, I need to go with, working on something that I felt like would be kind of like a quick fix in a way, right? This is something I had to shift within me. And instead of doing that, I took a pause and because part of me, like 4 years ago, it was like when we had a windfall of some sort, I was like, oh, I'm going to invest in this. At that time, it was a coaching program. And it ended up, while it brought some, while I ended up getting something out of it, of course, it didn't fully solve the problem for me. And this year, I was like, no, what I need to solve is marketing. And what I need to do is find a better way to delegate and organize the things that I'm already doing right now. And so instead of moving in a direction, because I was debating on like a brand strategist. And so instead of moving in that direction, I was like, no, let me get the marketing part done because that's been the part that has really driven me wild, like for the last few years. Like it's something that I feel I have done okay at, right? Like you get to a point where you do well enough where, of course, your business is making sales and you're having new clients and, people are hanging around. And so clearly something is working there, but you just know that it could be better if it was somebody else who actually loves doing it, doing that work. And so that's the decision I ended up making instead in terms of investing in support. And I am so glad I did. Working with my OBM has been fantastic. They are just reworking all the systems and I'm so excited to like really be in the flow of that. And then additionally, like working with the copywriter has been fantastic because then it's less pressure on me to have to write everything. And I'm able to still like voice my ideas, take the ideas and have it written down without me having to like sit there with the open Google Doc page and the blinking cursor and being like, okay, what do I write here? And so it's taken so much time and given it back to me to be able to do those things. It was really cool to know that I consciously went through that moment of, do I make the investment I would have made a few years ago because it felt like the thing that was going to fix and move us forward? Or do I make the decision that feels like it's going to bring me some relief and still move the needle forward at the same time? And I'm so glad that I paused and I decided to make a different decision. And so that's the last thing I want to leave with you. It was a great year for us, and I'm excited for what's to come. And years like this make you look back on the years that were a bit of a struggle and appreciate them so much more. There were I've had years in business where I didn't know how I was going to pay for anything. And to now be in a space to not worry about that as much is fantastic. And it is motivating. It's inspiring. It really makes me grateful for the work that I get to do, grateful for the growth that I've had personally, that we've had professionally, and grateful for the choices that I've made along the way, even the mistakes. Everything is a lesson, and I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful that I'm able to look at those lessons and decide to make different decisions and take better action the next time because I don't dwell in those spaces. And it's beautiful. So if you are somebody who had a great year as well, make sure you go out and celebrate it. Don't let nobody make you feel like you cannot celebrate all of the amazing things that you have done, that you have grown through, that you've experienced this year. And then on the other side, if you are going through that year where you're like, no, where you're just like, it seemed like everything was going wrong and you don't know how you're going to get out of it, this is just a stepping stone to the greatness that is to come. And so I encourage you to not let that stop you. I encourage you to continue to move forward, even if it's taking the smallest step and doing the thing. Your intuition is always going to lead you the right way. So that's it. I will catch you on the next episode. Let me know what you thought. If there's something that you want to celebrate and you want me to celebrate with you, then make sure to tag me. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I hope the insights shared in this episode have inspired you to take one small action step toward a more empowered relationship with money. If you're ready to take control of your finances like the rich bitch you are, I invite you to book a 90-minute Organize Your Money Honey intensive with me. You'll walk away with a crystal clear financial plan, a budget you'll actually stick to, and actionable steps to start saving and investing faster. Head to the link in the show notes to book your spot. I'm so grateful to be part of your financial journey, and I can't wait to see all the incredible moves you'll make. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.